We are in April. Men's call. Yeah. I am so fired up that you're on this Zoom tonight. And man, I hope your year is just off to the biggest start of your life. My word for this year is increase. So, man, I hope everything in your life is getting better. I don't believe that you can stand still at any time in your life. I believe you're either going up or you're going down, but you just very rarely stay the same. And so tonight, I just want to chat with you for just a few minutes. I know how busy you are, so I want this to add value to your life and strengthen you, but I want to talk to you about the power of focus. The power of focus. When I was in grade school, maybe you did this too, but they gave me a magnifying glass one day, and I had a bunch of ornery young men that were in my class with me. Not me, but them. And we learned how to take the magnifying glass. Now, young kids don't ever do this, okay? But we would let the sun come through it, and the power of that focus going through a magnifying glass would cause us to be able to burn a hole in the page. There's such a difference when your life is magnified by focus. I think more people fail from broken focus than any other single thing. You take your eye off the prize, you take your eye off the message, you get unclear, you get muddy, you start to lose power. In your life, if you don't focus on the right things, the wrong things will just honestly seep in. When you begin to focus, I want you to know it gives you more strength. Write these 4 things down. It's critical. It gives you more power. Whatever you focus on actually grows and gets bigger. That's negative or positively. It also gets clear. In your life, you get clearer. So I want to talk to you tonight about 10 ways to help you improve your mental focus and your concentration. Did you know these are learned skills? Focus and concentration, not only in your workplace, but in every area of your life. I think a lot of times we don't transfer what we learn in business to our own homes. Let me give you an example. I work with companies all the time on vision, mission, and values. Do you have a vision, a mission, and a set of values for your company or your organization or the place where you work? Question. Do you have a vision and a mission and a clear set of values in your home? We never had rules in our home growing up. We had values. And there were only 4 of them. I didn't come to talk about those tonight. But those values dictated everything we did in our lives. I was doing it one day for a company, and I went, whoa, I need to go home and set up a whiteboard and bring Team Goad together and get my wife and our children, at the time they were very young, on the same page. What was our vision? What was our purpose? What was our reasoning as a family, as a marriage, to exist? This is not easy work. It doesn't come to the lazy. It only comes to those who absolutely put enough value on their lives. And let me tell you, in your life, whatever you're not building, you're going to spend time repairing. So I want to encourage you to focus on the building of your life and your family. I went through this process when I was really young at Goad International. What was our vision? What was our mission? What was our values? And it was a process. We'll talk about that sometime. So here's what I want you to do. Number 1, if you're going to improve your focus, number 1, eliminate distractions. That's called broken focus. You will be more productive and have a better chance of staying focused when you remove anything around you, noise, disruptions, away from your life. Most of us, modern technology it hasn't simplified our lives. It's actually increased the noise in our lives. So I encourage you, when you get ready to focus, find a quiet place where that moment, not all this clutter and disruption is going on around you. I don't know if you've tried it in a while, but leave your phone in another room. Take a walk without it and just watch what you're able to do. Because of 5-minute clips now, people around the world really struggle with focusing more than 5 minutes. They will tell you that even in social media, you've got to tell it in a certain amount of time or you lose the attention of people. I just can't stay in there. We learn. So I want you to know it's possible to unplug from the distractions that are around you. Number 2, prioritize your task. I want to tell you tonight, the name of the game is priorities. I used to study time management a lot, and finally I realized that it was really more about my priorities than it was my time. Because what is most important to you, what is the priority of your life, will be what you focus on. It's amazing what focus can do in your life. I have a friend of mine, he served in the Vietnam War, and that's a long time ago. And he was a board member, he was a dear friend, and I was grateful to have him. And he showed me a picture one time of a young man who had not slept in 48 hours waiting for the enemy. He was a sniper. And when the enemy showed up, he came out of this groggy state and he focused. It's amazing in your life when you decide that what you're focusing on is important, how much it will change everything about you. So prioritize your task. There's so many tasks to do. I had a friend of mine send me everything he had to do, and I just said, I can't read this. But isn't it amazing how busy we are? You're busy. You got a lot going on. And if you're not careful, you'll start wasting your life instead of investing your life. And that's not a good program. Number 3, train your mind to focus. Train your mind to focus. Train your mind to focus. Let me tell you, if you're not focusing, I don't think you will encourage anyone else to focus around you. I don't think you'll help build the skills in their lives. Do you realize that your brain can be trained to improve your cognitive abilities, and it will cause you to stay focused? Your mind is a terrible thing to waste. Focus it. Number 4, really try to find a place where you can work in quiet. I've talked about this a little bit before, but I want you to know in your life, you've got to find a place. So many people go to Starbucks to work, and I get it. But I love to seclude because I find that in those secluded places, I have less distractions, and it opens my heart and my mind to focus more on what it is I really need to be thinking and need to be saying. A quiet environment can help you improve your focus by ensuring you won't be disrupted by other people. I would encourage you, if you need some focus time alone, that you would even go to your family and say, hey, give me a little bit of time so that I can focus. By the way, I'm very aware if my wife needs focusing time, that I try not to interrupt her. It is a very disruptive thing when somebody's got creative juices going to disrupt their flow. A lot of leaders make this great mistake with the people that they lead. They can't read that someone needs time to think to process, to strategize, to plan, to set a new focus in motion for their lives. Number 5, I would encourage you to pray and reflect. Pray and reflect. Some people call that meditation. Relaxing and decompressing, letting go of all of the hustle and bustle and rush and pressure, all the noise that's in your mind and in your heart, letting go of fear. And I would encourage you to just take your mental focus and concentrate. Try practicing in your life to learn how to focus more clearly. I want to encourage you in your life on this right here, that you focus on the right things. Focus on things that really matter, things that really make a difference. Can I give you 5 just incredible replacement habits that I want to give you right now? Number 1, replace overthinking with action. Right now, as you look at your life and you're saying, you know what, I need to pray and I need to really get wisdom on what I need to do, replace these 5 habits in your life. Overthinking with action. Most of us spend so much time thinking we actually think we've done something. I want to encourage you to take action. Number 2, complaining with gratitude. You won't believe, if you stop complaining in your life, how much energy and fire and what gratitude will do for your heart. It will change everything. Grateful heart. Think about the blessings in your life, the goodness in your life, even the struggles in your life that are teaching you something. Even the areas right now where you're a little irritated, but you're growing. It's an opportunity for you to overcome and rise above it. Number 3, replace in your life TV with exercise and books. You don't have to be a muscle man or muscle woman, but just take a walk, lift some weights, do something. The power of you getting outside is so important. The study on depression right now is that when people just have 5 minutes in sunlight, it lifts their mental mood. I want to encourage you during the day while you're working, take a moment and go get outside, take a walk. If you're in Canada, you might want to put on a big coat. In Florida, we'll just sweat the whole time while we're here, but that's good. Now, are we on number 4? Replace blame with responsibility. Pray about that. God, what do you want me to do where I need to take responsibility, where right now I'm blaming it on other people? I want you to take some time tonight when we get done with this call to write down where mentally, you may not even be aware, but mentally you're blaming someone else instead of taking responsibility, even if it's not your fault. You're a leader. Rise above it. Number 5, replace fake friends with mentors. You know all those people that you're seeking their validation? I would just encourage you to step out of that. Number 6, exercise. Exercise regularly. It stimulates your brain and it gets the blood moving in your life. Engaging physical activity will also improve your memory. So I beg you to get moving. You don't have to run 5 miles, but go out and take a walk. Might be around the block. It may be 1 block, but do something to keep moving. Watch what happens in your life. One of the most valuable parts of my day is in the morning. I love to walk and run with my wife. It's just so important. And oftentimes I'll go on my own and I will just walk. It's a great time for me to reflect. It's a great time for me to receive information. It's a great time for me to see the next level that I need to get to. Number 7, take breaks. I really kind of talked about this, but get outside, But I will tell you, a great way to avoid burnout is to just take a moment. It might be a half hour, it may be an hour, but do something that fills you up. As a leader, I want to tell you right now, as a father, as a leader, as a mother, if you're on tonight, as a teenager, it's so easy to study to feed others while you starve by malnutrition yourself. You need to be feeding yourself where you need to grow and where you need to develop. Take some breaks and watch what happens in your life. It will change everything in your life. Recharge, relax. Find the place that's your happy place. I love to walk outside. I love to walk on the beach. Find where your spot is that rejuvenates you. And I know sometimes we're just so busy, but you can find somewhere in any city you're in to find a place to go find the beauty of nature and of what God is doing. Number 8, try to get some rest, get some sleep. It's so hard. Some of you guys, I love you, but you just veg out. You just go crazy on Netflix. You just go all in. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're still watching Netflix. And guess what? 5 a.m., here it comes. I mean, it's coming at you, right? And so I just encourage you, look and see. You know, I may need to get some more sleep. Just take those moments. Number 9, focus on one thing at a time. I'm not really very good at this, but I'm getting better. My ADD kicks in. And normally what happens is when I'm focusing on something, it reminds me of 10 other things I need to be thinking about. So you got to find your own little path. For me, I find it helps me if I write it down and go, I'll come back to you later. I'm going to table that. I will come right now. I've got to focus on this. This one thing I do, Paul said, putting those things which are behind me. I press on towards the high mark. What is the high mark in your life? What is the calling of your life? What is the purpose of your life? Are you really doing that? Focus on one thing at a time. Number 10, give a certain amount of time to each task that is in your life. Say to yourself, I'm going to do this for 10 minutes. I'm going to do this for 30 minutes. I'm going to assign a time, and then you can complete it. And if you want to add more time, you can. If you get it done sooner, you're just able to get more things done. And I would encourage you as a leader to find out where your most productive hours are. Some of you, you're morning people and you just knock it out. Some of you, when the sun goes down and it gets dark, it's after 12 or after 11, and you just light up like a Christmas tree, man, and you're like, man, I can go. Normally, both of these times are where it's more quiet. So you just got to find this. I think in these moments you will find out your ability to solve problems will go through the roof. And by the way, solving problems is one of the greatest things a leader can ever do. So what are the benefits? PT, why should I focus? I want to give you 4 real quick. Are you ready? Number 1, it builds momentum. When you stay focused on one assignment, you're more apt to complete it more efficiently. The ability to finish a task quicker can be motivated and moved on, and you can move on and on and on and on. When you focus, it builds momentum, and you build off your last win that comes into your next win. Number 2, it increases productivity. I can get more done in less time. I love doing that. With excellence, not sloppiness. Have you ever seen somebody try to get something done, but it's sloppy? My mother used to tell me over and over again, son, if it's worth doing once, make sure you get it done in one time, instead of taking 3 or 4 times where I have to come back and say, why was this not done? I want to encourage you right now to be a person of excellence, where that people don't have to come behind you and clean up what you didn't do because you didn't care enough to do it right the first time. Just do it right. My mother would go over and over and over with me, son, you're wasting time because you're not doing it with excellence on the first time. I just encourage you to do this. Number 3, it reduces stress. When you're focused, man, when you're staying on a task, when you're getting things done, man, it just helps you to de-stress. It just really does. Number 4, it produces a better quality of work. When you focus, the quality of what you do goes way up. So I just want to encourage you in your life to say, you know what? What can I do to increase my life and increase my focus? So let me end with this, okay? I would just encourage you in your life. Number 1, I want you to put these 4 things in your life and think about them every day. Number 1, my care for people. What are you going to focus on? My care for people. Have you ever had somebody say to you, I don't care? Now, maybe they never said it with words, but they said it with actions. Find out what somebody cares about and care about it with them. Find out what matters to them, what's important to them, and then care about it with them. I would encourage you to care for people. I would encourage you to care for your wife. I would encourage you to care for your husband. I would encourage you to care for your children, for your friends, your family. I would encourage you to care for your team. The first responsibility, I am told, is to care for people. Not a job. Care for people. Do you realize around the world there's such bad leadership that a lot of people have never had somebody that cared for them when they worked for them? All they care about is production and myself. The second thing is I want you to really focus on not being selfish, but looking and saying, I want everybody to win. I want to encourage you that you would think of others first. When you walk into any environment, think of others first. Let me tell you when a culture begins to fall apart, a family begins to fall apart. Would you agree with me that there are no perfect people? It's when a team starts verbalizing their weaknesses and their displeasure in others. And I promise you, whatever you give out is going to come back to you. Does that mean, hold on. Does that mean we don't face when performance and commitment is not at the level that it should be? No, we face it. What we don't do is gossip about it and get turned on each other. We move forwards. You're wasting time and energy. And as a leader, I want to encourage you to listen in your home and listen in your work where people begin to talk about each other as if one of us are better than the other. Hey, I need to change and grow more than anybody. But let's start seeing the greatness in people, what people can be, and then let's go to work on the greatness that we can do. So, not being selfish, caring for people. Number 1, I would encourage you, number 3, I would encourage you to start focusing not on your differences, but what we have in common. Inside your team, what do we have in common? Well, we want to grow people, and a rising tide raises all ships. We kind of develop what the Marines have developed, and that is no man or woman left behind. Come on. Right now, I understand you're struggling. Right now, I understand it's hard. Right now, I understand that your commitment is low. Right now, I understand, but that's not who you are. It's something you're doing. See, this is the question we have to ask ourselves. When I'm not doing my all, is it who I am, or is it just the decision I'm making? So I'm going to make sure I'm giving my all. Number 4, and I'm going to let you go early tonight. I just encourage you in your life to just begin to not be reactive, but be reflective. A lot of times, leaders, we react too quickly. We get mad. We get upset. something went wrong, and we immediately feel like we have to jump on it. I would encourage you to put the brakes on and be more reflective. To look and say, hey, what's really going on here? Really do your homework. Start seeing what's going on in someone's life. Start encouraging somebody. Start building somebody up, and watch what happens in your life. Here's what I want you to do too. My last thing is I want you to begin to focus on where you want to go, not what you fear. Focus on where you want to go, not on what you fear. Guys, focus is so key. It is so powerful. This next 30 days, if you really focus on the most important things in your life. By the way, when you start talking about time management, you're going to talk about priorities. And let me just tell you this in closing. When you start looking at your priorities, you've got to first ask yourself, what is required of me? What do I have to do? Focus on what only you can do. There are some things you cannot delegate. There are some things you have to do. I'll give you one. You can't delegate personal growth or self-education. It's so critical. Let me give you another one. You can't delegate self-awareness. Before too long, I'm going to get ready to do a function where I only invite a few people to be up close, to be mentored, to be coached, and even be pastored. And one of the things I want to teach on that day to help you go to a whole nother level is self-awareness. Do you realize that the statistics are out right now that 90% of all human beings are not self-aware? They have no awareness of what their words, their tones, their body language does to other people. Self-awareness is one of the most incredible things you will ever do in your life. Not self-centeredness, self-awareness. Noticing that your words are not connecting. So I just want to encourage you to do this in your life. So what is required of me? The next one is, where do I get my greatest return? I call a lot of you. And when I call you, I go, hey, is this a good time? Because can I tell you, I don't want to be getting into your return time. Wherever you get your greatest return, I'm going to let you go. Don't disrupt somebody's return time. Even if you want to tell them how to get a greater return, let them get the return they can get and then come back and say, hey, if you want to increase that, here's a couple of secrets. The last one is reward. Reward. In your priorities, what is required, where do you get your greatest return? And number 3 is, where do you get your greatest reward? Sometimes my greatest reward is not even where I get my greatest return. Sometimes my greatest reward is in my serving, in my giving, in my sharing, in my slowing down to speed up. It may be something that, truthfully, I don't make a dime at. Because my whole life can't be focused on making a dime. My whole life needs to be focused on making a difference. And when I do that, it changes everything. What a privilege to be on this call with you tonight. I love you more than you can imagine. Stay close. I'm making some huge announcements over the next month that are going to be so life-changing. I have never been more excited, more prepared, more, let's just say, in tune with who I am to know exactly what I'm called to do. One of the callings of my life is to mentor and coach, but there's a bigger one, and that is to be a father to people, to walk with you, to see you win. I was having a conversation with Josh Cook tonight, and I said, it's interesting in life because a lot of people, when you start growing and developing, they're not going to know how to deal with you. And they'll keep treating you like little Johnny when you were 5 or 10 or 18 when you were making mistakes. But you now have advanced. It's like parenting. You can't keep treating your children like children. You've got to start treating them with respect and honor. G5 Conference is coming up this weekend. I'm so excited. I'm going to do one talk that I'm so pumped about called Transitions. Almost every one of you on this call tonight is in some form of a transition. Right now, you're moving from one place to another. And those incredible moments in your life are just critical. You either do them well or you don't do them well. Matter of fact, I would love for you, honestly, to get a hold of me and let me know, where are you transitioning right now? Let me give you another word for it. A shift. What used to inspire you where you are is no longer lighting your fire. The favor you used to carry in the spot you were in, you're now feeling the need to leave it to go to something else. Pay attention and do those things well. It will blow your mind what happens in your life. So where do you get your reward in your life? So there's a lot of things we're going to be doing, growing and stretching together. And I am so fired up you're a part of the family and that we are moving together. I hope I see some of you at G5 Conference this weekend. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be off the charts. I'm so excited for the teaching and the training and the equipping and the inspiration that's going to come from this, all on increase. Increase. I know you're going to increase. Anyhow, I love you, and I'm so honored to be on the call with you tonight. Charge, man. If you want to hang on for a minute, I'll chat with you. Thanks so much.